I'm standing here in the middle of the bird sanctuary feeding area. I just saw the brightest red cardinal, but I missed it with my camera. But I just love it here. Sometimes there's green jays and cardinals, really easy to see. Hopefully, I'll get closer to them. Another gorgeous day in South Texas. Hello everyone, I'm RV Debs and I am on my way to get my hair cut. You know, it looks pretty good like this today, but it needs a little shaping. I don't think I'm gonna get too much cut. What else? And then I'm going to play Pocono tonight, so that's a busy day. It's Tuesday and it's a beautiful day, 69 degrees, so sunny and comfortable. You know, we go through, I live in, I'm like really close to the Mexican border here in South Texas. And by the way, very safe, very sweet, love the area. Anyway, it gets really hot here. In the summer, our summer starts in most people's spring. When it's spring up north, it is hot here already. And it does not give up its heat until really the end of September. You can start to feel better, you know. But really, this to me is like a beautiful summer day. And it's one of the reasons I don't mind living here. I got here, I was never going to go to Texas in my life. Story time. That was never an intention between my husband and myself when he was alive. We thought about selling everything and buying some sort of RV, motorhome. We weren't sure. And so that was the plan. But it was never to be more than just visiting Texas, since my very best friend and my business partner for years, she's a sister. Her name's Kathy and her husband Mark. They moved from Florida where we were living, and they moved to this small town in Texas, kind of central west Texas. You know, an hour to the nearest city, which was a small city. So that was the plan, was we were gonna sell everything. We had a mobile home, a nice one, in Lake Tarpon in Florida. And anyway, he got ill. He got cancer, and that's another story in itself. But it was like he passed away 4 months after he had his diagnosis. And going through all that, which is a lot, for anybody, when you lose your loved, you know, your soulmate, your partner. But I thought, well, I'm just gonna do it anyway. I'm just gonna do what we were gonna do. I waited a year after he passed away and sold the house on the day that he passed away a year later. Like, crazy. I bought an RV, moved in, and that's a story. I have a playlist full of how, and you know, just my vlog is right there, so you can always go back, and that would do me a big favor because it helps my views and that helps me bring extra money, which I always need. You know, you live on Social Security, it's not like I have extra. So I sold everything, got an RV, traveled out of Florida, right the next state, Alabama. And I found an RV park that was very nice. And a lovely area in Robertsdale, Alabama, I must say. I stayed 9 months because I didn't enjoy, not one bit did I enjoy pulling this trailer with my truck. I felt like my truck was going to lose its transmission. It was too heavy. It had everything I owned. I had 2 dogs at the time. I lost Rosie a few years ago, but I still have Lily. But me and 2 dogs traveling with a trailer and all of our belongings it was just too much for me. I stayed, like I said, 9 months, and a good friend of mine, Chris, called me one day and said, I'm going to help you. You're stuck in Alabama. I'll drive. I can drive with the trailer. No problem. I'll take you wherever you want to go. And I got to Texas, and my best friend in the world and all her family, who are like my family, were so sweet and greeted me with open arms. I wound up staying on their property, putting in electric and a water line so that I could have all of my creature comfort and still be in my trailer. And that's what I did. I stayed 6 years. And I got so tired of living in this little tiny space in a small town where you had to drive an hour if you wanted to go to a movie or some shopping. There was Walmart 45 minutes away, and that kind of stuff. And it's a sweet town. It really is. And I, for 6 years, really was part of a family. All of the celebrations and birthdays and kids and grandkids. But one day I got a call from Beth. And Beth was a lady that I had met at the time, 6 or 10 years ago now. She had a small YouTube channel like me, and she stopped where I lived there in Knox City, Texas, and there was some free camping right behind where we lived. And anyway, she came and visited me for about 5 days. And we friended each other, but we weren't talking at all. A couple years go by, and I get a call, and she says, come down to South Texas. I've got a job as a manager, and I've got an apartment that you can stay in and visit for a while and see what you think. And that's what I did. And I got to the park, and next thing you know, I was offered a job 2 days a week to cover my rent and electric. And I thought, okay, and here I am. I wound up going back and emptying my apartment, and I stayed here. I wouldn't be here otherwise. I mean, my intentions, I'm a West Coast person. I thought I wanted to live in Oregon or Washington or Northern California. So you never know where you're going to wind up or what's going to happen. You could say never, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going there. And then, 10, 15 years down the road, you are there, Do I love it in Texas? Not really. I don't, because of a lot of reasons. There are reasons that I do like it, and it is the least expensive place to live that I've lived, especially in those small towns. But again, you're far away from everything. Where we live here is really nice because there's everything without the big city. There's little cities together, and they're all just one after another. Like I'm going to be in Mission, Texas, or McAllen, Texas, or Palmview, Texas, all the same area, and even further out. So here I am on my way to get a haircut. And when you do move out of state and you move away from somewhere you've been very comfortable, you gotta find a doctor, you gotta find a dentist, you gotta find a hairstylist, a nail place. Now that I've been here, this is my 3rd winter. In December, it'll be 3 years. It is 3 years, actually, right now. That's right, celebrating my 3rd year here in Texas, this part of Texas. can't believe I'm telling you all this, but I thought this would be a good video because a lot of people are new to my channel and don't really know, how I got to living here and why I'm in a RV resort, a work camper. Never thought I was going to do that. And I do enjoy it. Beth is no longer, she's no longer living at the park, and she moved to another, I'm not even sure if it's a mobile home park or an RV park, but she got another job and she's no longer there. And that's about all I'll say about it. We never really connected as true friends, obviously. So, but there are no mistakes. That's the thing about life. You don't know why you're there, or you don't know what's in the head of you. The one thing you can know is that things will change, and you have to adapt. And you have to roll with the punches, because otherwise you're going to go down and be out. You have to roll with the punches. And do you ever get over, the beautiful people that you loved that passed away? No, you never, ever get over it. You get through it on a daily basis or whatever for you. Everybody's different. I'm a very strong woman. I don't even know where that came from, okay? And when I was a little kid, my biggest fear was being all alone. And thinking how scary that must be to be all alone. And here I wind up, basically all alone. So you can create your fears are very, it's so important how we think and what we think and how we program our own selves with positive stuff, because you can make negative happen and you can make positive happen. It's like, but I mean, we usually learn so late in life, like now, but I'm going to enjoy every bit of what I do have left. That's my promise to myself. All right, well, I'm going to get my hair cut, and I'll see you after it's done. Here I am. See what we can do with this. Well, this is the after. She didn't take a lot off, just a trim, which is exactly what I needed. And I'm ready to go home and make some breakfast, since I have just been drinking coffee, bulletproof coffee, by the way. And time to eat now. Anyway, thanks for coming with me to get my hair cut.